But the question that's on the tips of the lips of everyone's tips at the moment is the crypto bear market over? So what we've seen, well, let me give you my first answer. How the fuck would I know? And if you get an answer from anyone that says either yes or no, they're talking through their asshole, because nobody knows, right? Timing markets and predicting markets is difficult for the best of them, and B, we know the crypto markets are pretty highly manipulated. So, but let's take a look at the evidence. Both Bitcoin and ETH are up over 20% over a 7-day period, which is a lot. So Bitcoin is now approaching 21,000 again. ETH is up over 1,500. The rest of the market is also, substantially up. You see a few coins rising. Solana's up 61% over 7 days, although it was down heavily after the FTX debacle. Other notable rises would be Avalanche, 37% up. Staked ETH, Lido staked ETH is 20% up, as people now realize they will be able to get their ETH off of the platform after Shanghai. Polkadot, 20%. Rough Bitcoin, well, doesn't count. Cosmos, 18%. So everything is indeed looking like a bright and cheerful market, and with a lot of bullish sentiment floating around. Now we know what a bear trap is, right? A bear trap is when during bearish conditions there's an interim and momentary and very temporary rise in prices that can trap people in, or bull trap. Sorry, I meant bull trap. Yeah, it's a trap for people who think that the market has turned bullish, buy in, only to see it fall down again. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that is a phenomenon, and everyone should be wary of that. Just as wary as they are of people who say, yeah, the market's come back and the bear market's finished, right? We have to look at other evidence as well, right? There's general consensus that we will be headed into a recession in 2023 worldwide. Part of that, a lot of that, is due to a global effort by central banks to raise interest rates in order to cool rising inflation, right? Now we see maybe inflation has peaked and is starting to, fall somewhat, but inflation is still high. Inflation in the US is still over 6%. That's way too high. In places like Australia, that I know, it's also about that much. And it is cooling, but, the question is it cooling fast enough for central banks to reduce interest rates yet? And I can predict that. I suggest they won't. I suggest they'll hold and just wait and see for a bit. Because there's another thing at play, of course, which is the conflict. Let's call it a war, because it's a war. It's a fucking war. It's a war of aggression in Ukraine. And because of food from Ukraine and food and energy from Russia, we're seeing shortages of both those things globally. I think this summer we'll see fuel prices that will be eye-popping. I mean, we think they're high now. I can't see them. I can't see the summer being any better for them. Food prices globally strain everything. So what we have to do is look at the general evidence and say, interest rates are high, money is expensive, asset prices are falling, property prices are falling, for example, in response to higher interest rates. Money's more expensive, and that more expensive money is not unlikely. I mean, there is pretty broad consensus that we will 2023 will be basically a year of a recession that we kind of had to have at the end of the day, because of all the free money the governments were handing out during the pandemic for people to sit on their asses at home and do fucking nothing. Other forces at play. We're in very early days into finding out what the fuck happened at FTX. We're in also very early days in confirming that investors in Celsius and BlockFi and 3 Arrows Capital and Voyager, how much are they going to get back, if anything? We don't know, and we won't know for a while. So there's a lot of downward sentiment. There's a lot of bearish sentiment in the market. So I think if you look at a 7-day period and make a conclusion that the market is headed one way or another, or if you listen to somebody who tells you that that's what they have decided, you are. So if you do the former, you're an idiot. If you do the latter, you're an idiot. Don't trust people on YouTube to tell you what is going to happen, right? The last thing I want to do in this channel is to make predictions. I don't know if this is the end of the bear market for crypto or not. I don't know. It might be, it might not be. What I encourage everybody to do is look at the broader range of evidence other than 7 days worth of price movements, because Bitcoin was lingering around $17,000 for what, 3 months with barely moving, 70,000 a bit under. So you take a 7-day snapshot and conclude that the market shifted from bearish to bullish. Well, I wouldn't make that conclusion. Let's just say it like that. NFT volumes are still really weak. And I think they will be a little bit of a canary in the coal mine as far as the wider crypto market goes. But, my point here is I don't know the answer to this question. Keep watching the markets, but keep an eye on other trends as well, and other, more global fundamentals. So I think the fundamentals for all crypto are quite weak. You can get pretty decent rates on risk-free investments in U.S. government bonds at the moment. So I just wouldn't. Just be cautious about being too excited and enthusiastic, and be careful of those bull traps. I actually can't remember if they're called bull traps or bear traps anyway. But anyway, they're traps. So peace out and take care out there. It's a dangerous old world.